Beloved, as we grow older, we realize that time is our most precious currency, and energy, both emotional and physical, is something we must protect fiercely. Yet there are people in our lives, sometimes even those closest to us, who drain that energy like a leaky faucet, leaving us feeling exhausted, depleted, and unworthy. These are the energy drainers, and if we are not careful, they will rob us of the peace we have spent a lifetime building. Energy drainers come in many forms. Some are chronic pessimists, those who see a storm in every sunny day. Others are perpetual victims, always lamenting their fate but never taking steps to change it. Then there are the ones who demand constant attention, feeding off your time and emotions like a parasite that never gives, only takes. They rarely ask how you are doing, and if they do, it's only so they can quickly shift the conversation back to themselves. The most dangerous thing about energy drainers is that their effect is often subtle at first. You might not notice how exhausted you feel after every interaction with them. You tell yourself that you're just being kind, that it's your duty to listen, to help, to support. But over time, you realize that being around them feels like walking through quicksand. You keep sinking no matter how hard you try to stand firm. This is especially true in old age when our emotional reserves are not what they used to be. When we were younger, we had the strength to carry others, to push through exhaustion, to hold space for people who never held space for us. But in this season of life, we must be intentional about where our energy goes. We must ask ourselves, does this person replenish me or do they drain me? Because if they drain you, it's time to create distance. Now, let me be clear. I am not saying we should abandon people in pain or refuse to help those in need. But there is a difference between supporting someone and being their emotional dumping ground. There is a difference between being compassionate and allowing yourself to be consumed. Love does not mean self-sacrifice to the point of personal depletion. Love is not a one-way street where you pour and pour only to be left empty. One of the hardest truths we must accept is that some energy drainers might be family. A sibling who constantly complains but never listens. A grown child who only calls when they need money. A friend who thrives on gossip and negativity, pulling you into their storm whenever you try to step into the sunshine. The title of family does not give someone permission to deplete you. Love is a gift, not an obligation. So how do we protect ourselves? It starts with boundaries. We must learn to say no without guilt, to limit the time we spend with those who drain us, and to surround ourselves with people who uplift us instead. A simple rule: if you leave a conversation feeling heavier than when you entered it, that is a sign. If your energy feels depleted every time you engage with someone, that is a sign. Pay attention to what drains you and have the courage to step away. Beloved, your peace is sacred. Your joy is sacred. Your time, your energy, your spirit. These are the treasures of your golden years. Don't spend them on those who leave you feeling empty. Instead, invest in relationships that bring you life, that nurture your soul, that remind you how beautiful it is to be alive. You have given so much to the world now. It's time to give yourself permission to rest, to breathe, and to be surrounded by the warmth of those who truly cherish you. Beloved, as we walk through the later seasons of life, we begin to see more clearly what is truly valuable: peace, love, and the freedom to be ourselves. Yet some people make it their mission to weigh us down with invisible chains, binding us not with force, but with guilt. These are the guilt trippers, the ones who know exactly how to manipulate our hearts, using our kindness, our love, and our sense of responsibility against us. If we are not careful, they will keep us trapped in a cycle of obligation, resentment, and exhaustion. Guilt trippers have a special way of making you feel like you're never doing enough. They are the ones who sigh heavily when you say no, who remind you of all they've done for you whenever they need a favor. They use past sacrifices as leverage, making you feel like you owe them something forever. They paint themselves as the victim, twisting situations to make you the one responsible for their happiness, their problems, and even their disappointments in life. And the worst part, They often do it in ways so subtle that you don't even realize you're being manipulated until you're already knee deep in guilt. The burden of guilt is especially dangerous in old age. Why? Because by this point in life, we have spent decades caring for others, our children, our spouses, our friends, and our communities. We have given and given, sometimes at great personal cost. And now, as we seek a season of rest and self-care, the guilt trippers arrive, making us feel selfish for wanting peace. They tell us that family comes first, that good people don't turn their backs on others, that after all these years, they need us now more than ever. But here's the truth. Love is not measured by how much of yourself you sacrifice. The hardest part about dealing with guilt trippers is that they are often people we care about deeply. Our own children, siblings, old friends, even lifelong partners. That is what makes their tactics so effective. We want to be there for them. We want to help. And because of that, we tolerate things we shouldn't. But beloved, guilt is not the same as love. Obligation is not the same as connection. If someone makes you feel like you must constantly prove your loyalty through self-sacrifice, then they are not loving you, they are controlling you. So how do we break free? It starts with recognizing that you are allowed to prioritize yourself. Your needs, your desires, and your well-being are just as important as anyone else's. You do not exist simply to meet the expectations of others. You have the right to say no, to step back, to choose what is best for you. And listen, saying no does not mean you do not love them. Setting boundaries does not mean you are abandoning them. It simply means you are refusing to live under the weight of constant guilt. Some guilt trippers will not take this well. They will protest. They will remind you of past favors, past sacrifices. They will say, after everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me. They will accuse you of being ungrateful, of being selfish. And that, beloved, is when you must stand firm. Guilt is their weapon, but you are stronger than that. Your life is not a debt to be repaid. It is a gift to be cherished. One of the most powerful things you can do is release the need to please everyone. You are not here to meet the unrealistic expectations of others. You are here to live with peace, joy, and purpose. And if someone truly loves you, they will not hold guilt over your head like a chain. They will respect your right to choose what is best for you. Remember this, love should feel like freedom, not imprisonment. Beloved, you have carried the weight of the world for long enough. You have been there for others. You have given your time, your energy, your love. Now it is time to release the burden of guilt and walk into a season where your happiness matters too. You do not owe anyone your exhaustion. You owe yourself the peace that you have spent a lifetime earning. Beloved, as we step into the later seasons of life, we begin to understand just how precious our days are. We no longer have time for meaningless stress, unnecessary drama, or the constant weight of negativity. Yet there are some people who seem determined to make every conversation, every interaction, and every moment feel heavy. These are the chronic complainers, the ones who find fault in everything, who always see what's wrong instead of what's right, and who expect you to carry the burden of their unhappiness. Chronic complainers are not just people who vent from time to time. We all need to express frustration occasionally, that's human, but these individuals, complaining is their default setting. They focus on everything that has gone wrong, everything that might go wrong, and everything that isn't exactly the way they want it to be. If the sun is shining, they'll complain about the heat. If it's raining, they'll complain about the dampness. If life gives them an opportunity, they'll find a reason to doubt it. Their words are not just filled with negativity, they are soaked in it. The real danger of chronic complainers is that their energy is contagious. You might start a conversation feeling fine, but by the time you walk away, you feel drained, frustrated, and discouraged. It's as if they suck the joy right out of the room. Their endless dissatisfaction can make you question your own peace, pulling you into their storm, even when you were standing in the sunshine. And beloved, Life is too short to be dragged into someone else's darkness when you have spent years learning to embrace the light. Now, let's be honest. Some chronic complainers might be people we love, a friend we've known for decades, a sibling who never sees the good in anything, even a child who has grown into an adult but still refuses to take responsibility for their own happiness. And because we care, we listen. We let them pour their negativity into us. We think maybe if I just encourage them more, they'll change. Maybe if I keep being patient, they'll see the good in life. But beloved, you cannot force someone to see the beauty in life if they refuse to open their eyes. You must ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier after spending time with this person? If every interaction leaves you exhausted, if their words rob you of joy instead of adding to it, then it's time to protect your peace. You have the right to choose how much space you give to negativity in your life. You have the right to step away from conversations that leave you feeling worse instead of better. Some people don't want solutions, they just want an audience for their misery. And beloved, you are not required to be that audience. So what do? You set boundaries. You limit your exposure. When a chronic complainer begins their usual routine, you redirect the conversation. If they refuse to shift, you excuse yourself. You make it clear, gently but firmly, that you are no longer available to be their emotional dumping ground. This is not unkindness. This is self-respect. Because you cannot afford to spend your golden years carrying the weight of someone else's dissatisfaction. And listen, if you find yourself complaining more than usual, take a moment to reflect. Are you focusing on the things that bring you joy, or are you fixating on what's missing? Life is not perfect, but there is still so much beauty, so much goodness, so much to be grateful for. Gratitude is the antidote to chronic complaining. When you shift your focus to what is right instead of what is wrong, everything begins to change. Beloved, you have earned the right to live in peace. You have earned the right to spend your days with people who lift you up, who bring laughter, who remind you of the beauty in the world. Do not let chronic complainers steal your joy. Protect your heart, protect your energy, and choose to surround yourself with voices that speak life, not despair. Your golden years should be filled with light, not the shadows of someone else's unhappiness. Beloved, there comes a time in life when we must stand firm in who we are and protect the peace we have spent years building. But not everyone respects the space we need. There are some people who push past every limit, disregard every request, and assume they have the right to invade our lives however they please. These are the boundary breakers, and if we are not careful, they will rob us of our rest, our dignity, and our sense of control over our own lives. Boundary breakers come in many forms. Some show up unannounced, expecting you to drop everything for them. Others demand your time, your energy, and your resources without considering how it affects you. Then there are those who pry into your personal life, offering unsolicited opinions and advice as if your choices are theirs to control. No matter how politely you try to set limits, they push back, making you feel guilty for wanting space, privacy, or independence. The worst part, many boundary breakers are people we love, family members, lifelong friends, even our own children. They believe that because they have a relationship with us, they are entitled to cross any line they wish. They might say things like, "I'm just trying to help," or "Why are you being so distant?" But beloved, let me tell you this. Love does not mean allowing others to disregard your needs. Love is not permission for someone to control, invade, or manipulate your life. One of the greatest lessons we learn with age is that boundaries are necessary for healthy relationships. Without them, resentment builds. Without them, we feel used, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. It is not selfish to say, "This is my time." It is not wrong to say, "I need space." Boundaries are not barriers to love. They are the framework that allows love to thrive without suffocating us. But here's the truth. Not everyone will accept your boundaries. Some people will push harder, testing your resolve. They will guilt trip you, telling you that you are being unreasonable or ungrateful. They will remind you of times they were there for you, trying to convince you that saying no means you don't care. But beloved, you do not need to justify your right to peace. You do not need to explain why you need rest, quiet, or solitude. No is a complete sentence. So how do you protect yourself from boundary breakers? First, you must be clear about your limits. If someone constantly shows up without calling, tell them directly, I need you to check with me before visiting. If someone constantly calls, demanding your time, be firm. I am not available right now, but I will call you when I can. If they dismiss your request, do not argue. Simply enforce your boundaries. If someone refuses to respect the space you need, then you have every right to step away. And listen, setting boundaries is not about shutting people out. It is about creating relationships that are built on mutual respect. When people truly care about you, they will honor your needs. The ones who get angry, who push, who guilt trip you for protecting your well-being, they are showing you that they were never interested in a healthy, balanced relationship. They were only interested in what they could take from you. Beloved, your time, your space, and your peace are sacred. You have spent a lifetime giving, sacrificing, and showing up for others. Now you deserve relationships that respect your boundaries, not ones that trample over them. Stand firm, guard your peace, and remember this: those who truly love you will never demand that you exhaust yourself to make them happy. Beloved, life has a way of revealing who is truly in our corner. When we are strong, when we are giving, when we have something to offer, friends and family surround us. But when seasons change, when we need support instead of giving it, when we are no longer able to meet others' expectations, some people disappear like mist in the morning sun. These are the fair weather folks, the ones who only stay when it's easy, only love when it's convenient, and only show up when there's something in it for them. Fair weather folks thrive when life is good. They enjoy the laughter, the celebrations, the benefits of being connected to you. As long as you are the giver, the helper, the one making the effort, they are present. But the moment you need something, the moment you require patience, understanding, or even just a listening ear, they vanish. They don't return calls. They make excuses. They are too busy. Suddenly, the relationship that once felt close begins to feel one-sided, like a house built on shifting sand. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everyone who walks with you will stay with you. And for those of us in our later years, this realization can be especially painful. We have spent decades investing in relationships, caring for family, supporting friends, being present for others. But now, as we enter a season where we need encouragement, companionship, and love, we find that some of the people we stood by are nowhere to be found. The betrayal of fair weather folks is not always loud. It is often subtle. A slow distancing, an unanswered message, a forgotten promise. And at first we make excuses for them. Maybe they're just busy. Maybe they don't realize how much I need them right now. But beloved, at some point we must see the truth. Those who value you make time for you. Those who love you show up, not just in the sunshine, but in the storm. Now let's be clear, no one is perfect. We all have seasons where we struggle to be present for others. But fair weather folks are not just people who get busy or distracted. They are those who consistently take without giving, who disappear when things get difficult, and who expect loyalty while offering none in return. They are the ones who remember your number when they need something, but forget your name when you do. So what do we do? First, we must stop chasing those who have already walked away. If someone cannot be present for you in difficult times, then they do not deserve your energy in good times. Let go of the expectation that everyone you poured into will pour back into you. Instead, focus on those who have proven their loyalty, those who have stayed, those who love you for who you are, not just for what you provide. And listen, loneliness can tempt us to hold on to the wrong people. It can make us tolerate less than we deserve just to feel connected. But, beloved, a small circle of genuine friends is better than a large crowd of fair weather ones. Do not waste your golden years chasing those who only valued you for what they could gain. Instead, invest in relationships that bring mutual joy, that fill your spirit, that remind you that you are deeply cherished, even when you have nothing to give but your presence. Beloved, you deserve love that endures. You deserve companionship that does not crumble under the weight of life's hardships. So if the fair weather folks have faded from your life, let them go. Release them with grace, but do not hold the door open. The right people, the ones who truly love you, will stand beside you in every season, not just when the sun is shining, but when the storms come, when the winds blow, when the road is difficult. And that, beloved, is the kind of love worth keeping.